Okay, I'm back here to talk again. Excuse me, for my sniffling. I'm just kind of been through some things just now, and here's what I gotta say. Maybe for some of us, we're not supposed to get our life together. You know how people say, "Get your life together." I've been trying to get my life together for a long time, and you know what happens to me? Every time I plan, something comes in a way to make sure those plans don't work. And we can say it's negative energy, black magic, so you can take like a nice little bath or something and remove the negative energy and all that stuff. But what if I say this, though? What if there is a higher power? When I say higher power, something that's bigger than your ego. Because the ego is what makes us feel like we got stuff to do every day in a fake world. It's the ego. Some of us were only supposed to spend so much time and giving this false world any more energy. So what I'm saying is that when I say higher power, it could be your higher mind. It could be something else that you consider a higher power. It could be your ancestors, whatever you want to call it. I don't really get into ancestors. I feel like ancestors are in the DNA, and once you unlock your DNA and activate it, the ancestors are there. So I don't really get into ancestor stuff. It's really honoring yourself, okay, and cultivating yourself and your gifts and all that stuff, and then you honor your ancestors. That's just what I say, though. Now, that don't mean people shouldn't have dinner and commune and all that stuff with their ancestors. I ain't trying to get into nobody spiritual practices and what they do. But here's what I came to about myself, and it could be somebody else's experience too. It's not meant for me to get myself together. It ain't meant for me to get my life together. Why am I getting together a fake life? It's not meant for me to get my life together. I keep trying to do things. I keep trying to plan. I keep trying to, even when it comes to money, plan and do things. And it's not meant for me to get my life together. It's meant for me to lose my life. That's what's supposed to happen. I'm supposed to lose my life. I don't mean death, okay? Well, yeah, death of the ego, yeah. Death of the ego, death of the false self, death of the illusion, yeah. So, yeah, there is a death that has to happen, and it's death of the self that don't even exist in the first place. And it's death of the self that feel like we got so much to do. You know, this guy said this because I used to watch a couple of his videos several years ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I watched him, and I haven't watched him lately because I can't get into these type of channels anymore, okay? Because especially if they're big channels, very rarely they tell you what really you need to free yourself, okay? They're big channels, and they have a machine that pushes them. But the guy's name is Infinite Waters. I just want to give him credit for saying this because I don't like to repeat people as if I came up with it when I know somebody else the one that said it. And he would always say, you are in a rush to go nowhere fast. And so in this life, this false world, we're in a rush to go nowhere fast. Always trying to pay your bill. Always trying to get money. Always trying to make sure you have a car to drive. And why is that a problem? Because of time. Time. We get time as an illusion, but in this world, it's not an illusion, right? Yeah, time is an illusion, but not in this world, because just about everybody is on some kind of time. You know, even if you work from home, you might have a particular time that you need to call a client, right? If you do readings, you might have might have a particular schedule. You have schedules, right? You work a job, you punch in the clock. Whatever it is, you still on some kind of time. And even if you have your own business, if you have a business where it's quite busy, you have even less time than people who actually punch the clock. You know, because a lot of people who have their own businesses, they like to get that money, and so it makes them actually a little more busy than folks who go in and clock out after 8 hours, or somebody who work from home might be busy for like 15, 16 hours. Okay? So, you know, So you're still on some kind of time, even though we know time is an illusion. Yeah, outside the simulation, you're not going to be on that kind of time. But inside the simulation, you are on time. Now, some people know how to bend time. They understand themselves well enough. They have mastered self well enough to bend time and all that stuff. But here's what I want to say. My main thing is that I don't want to hold on to this life anymore. Because what I notice is that you might know somebody else like this. It's not a problem with planning. It's not that you're not getting yourself together. It's that you are being prevented. Some people, they are being prevented from getting their life together. Every time they do something, they make good plans. Somebody might decide to help them, and then the person who might decide to help them, something happened to that person to make sure that the person need help don't get help. Like, it's a severe spiritual warfare, severe. That when somebody say, yeah, I can help you, then something happened, like they car break down, and then I need this money. See, so that person gets attacked for trying to help you. To make sure that you never get what you need in life. Make sure you never get it. So planning ain't shit. When it's time for you to let your life go, and I'm not trying to be no victim and I ain't complaining, I'm saying something here. When it is time to let your life go, and the reason I'm yelling like that, because I'm being harassed, spiritually being harassed, right now as I speak. But why am I being harassed? Because I'm still in this life, and it's time to let it the hell go, and it's going to keep harassing me until this bitch is, excuse me, when I say this bitch, I'm talking about this life. Not no person. I ain't calling no person a bitch. I'm talking about this false world, this illusion, this life. That's what I'm calling a bitch. Okay? It's going to keep harassing me until this bitch is finally gone. It ain't going to leave me alone. Because every time I get rid of the motherfucker, it comes back. I got to let the fucking bitch go. And I'm talking about this false life. Not no person. I ain't calling people names. Okay, because I don't want to get into that calling folks names. A lot of bad stuff has happened to me in the years, but I've always had managed to hold on and keep it going. And just try to make things right and work on it. My car get attacked. When something happened with a house I'm in, something can happen. Something always happen to, no matter what I plan to do and how good it is, something is going to happen to mess up the plans. And I don't have a whole lot of support. So it messes me up and it put me into thinking about how much I need money. Because I can't just go and ask nobody for anything like that. I can't do that. Excuse me. Sorry. And I'm not sick. The reason why I'm sniffing like this is some things are going on. And I just say it like that. And some things are happening. But, you know how we say get your life together. I've been so ashamed. That things happen in my life to where it is just when you feel like you're doing okay and you make plans to get yourself together. But let me tell you, every time I made plans, something happened for me to get blocked. Okay? Something happened for me to get blocked every single time. And nobody else knows my plans, so it's not like I got friends and family that I talk to about my plans. In the spiritual realm, the spiritual realm is aware of my plans, and I get blocked even when I think about the fucking plans, and I think about the plans in my head because I done planned it in my freaking head. My head get fucking blocked. I don't even tell nobody my plans. That's how bad this shit is. That I don't talk to nobody. So nobody is actually blocking me. Now, yeah, people are blocking me who are witches because they are trying to control my reality by controlling my reality ahead of time so shit don't go right for me. And I got to go back and do all this shit to reverse what they did. People I don't even fucking talk to, but for some reason I keep being a target, even though I don't talk to nobody. Like, I haven't talked on the phone to a friend in like years. Like, it's been a few years that I actually talked to somebody as a friend, and I call like family members like every once in a while, just to for a few minutes. But other than that, I don't hold conversations. I don't do that. So that means that my plans are being known in the spiritual realm, and witches and bitches, now I am calling them bitches now, witches and bitches see my plans in the spiritual realm, and they fuck up my fucking plans in the spiritual realm. Okay? And let me tell you something. I can criticize them all I want to, but something bigger is stopping my life from coming together. And I get so ashamed that I'm an older person, middle-aged person. I don't want to call it middle-aged, because middle-aged mean that, you plan on dying by 80-something. And first of all, I don't care in years, because I know I was never born anyway. So I don't get it. I rarely use that type of term, but I just say the word middle-aged just to give an idea of how old I am, okay, in this fake life that never happened because I was never born, right? And so that's what I'm working on. That's why nothing comes together for me at this point. At this time, it seems like nothing is really going to come together for me, because I got to let go of this life. I got to let go of it. That's why I don't tell nobody about what's going on with me. You got to get your life together. What's wrong? Why can't you get it together? What's wrong with you? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's what happens, because most people that you're going to come into contact with are going to be mundane. They're going to be mundane people, because we have been conditioned to think physical all the time. And if something is spiritual going on, we have been conditioned to like, well, you can, whatever you want, you can get. No, that ain't true. That ain't true, because if you ain't meant to have it, you ain't going to fucking get it. Even if it's having a simple life, trying to survive, and you have your basic needs met. If you're trying to hold on to this life, and it ain't meant for you to hold on to this life, your basic needs will eventually not be met, and you'll be messed up like a mug. You'll be messed up. So, it ain't meant for you. Sometimes it ain't meant to hold on to this life. Because when you hold on to this life, you're really holding on to your ego. And your ego is a false person. It's a false identity. It's not real. It's something, it's the creation of this fake world. Because this is an ego world. Okay? And it's time for me to come out of it. It's time to just stop it. Stop trying to make ends meet in this fake world. But that's really all I got to really say about that. It's just so bad that what I have to deal with it's just so bad. I can't really describe it. Now I will describe it to people, but I'll describe it to certain folks. I don't want to just come out and. But it's freaking annoying. And I'm at a point right now that I've decided that I need to try to make as much money as possible today and stuff like that. But I'm like, I'm tired of, I don't want to think about that today. Here's why I don't want to think about that today. See, I just got harassed just now in the spiritual realm because I said I don't want to think about money. See, the thing is, let me tell you something. Because I'm about to be completely naked right now on this YouTube upload that I'm about to do. Let me tell you what the problem is. Whatever your biggest struggle or worry is in life, that's where this thing is going to harass you. And this thing is harassing me on my biggest struggle in life. So when I just said I don't want to think about money today and I don't feel like caring about it today, this thing just harassed me. Okay? So now it's messing with what you would call your fears. It's like getting power from your fears. Well, I'm tired of thinking about that shit. I'm tired of thinking about money. I'm at the point, I'm going to tell you something. I don't hate money. I hate what you got to do to survive. So, like, it's not money that I have a problem with, right? if I had to get a certain amount of blueberries, right? Let me take money out of it. Like, say if I need to get a certain amount of pounds of blueberries, right? To be able to um put gas in my car, okay? Something like that. I'm just making up something, right? And I don't meet that number of blueberries, that pounds of blueberries, or to pay my light bill, or to pay rent. And I don't meet that number of blueberries that's needed to pay my rent, or I don't meet that number of blueberries that's needed to put some gas in my car so I can keep driving, right? Well, then I'm gonna dislike the idea that blueberries are needed to survive. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about money. It's that this thing comes in the way of being natural. And right now, money, a currency, whatever form it comes in, because I'm not just talking about paper money, whatever form it comes in, currency. Let me roll down my window. Whatever form that comes in, that's what I don't like, because it comes in between you and basic survival. Like, think about some of the old tribes that people that like to call primitive, right? They don't not one bit have they ever complained about money. Not one bit have they ever complained about not having lights. You know, they have everything they need. They don't complain about the things we complain about. Why? You know, the money is not coming between them and their being natural. Money is not coming between them and their basic survival. They're more closer to nature. Those is what you would call more natural. I'm unnatural. Because the money comes, and this is most people, whether you're comfortable in life, whether you got enough money where you can sit home, it still requires money to be able to do that. If you're not bringing in the money to be able to sit home, somebody else is bringing in the money. Either way, it requires money. And if something happened to that person where money can't come in no more, then you're going to have to figure out what you can do. Okay? And then you got to sustain the money. It has to keep coming. Unless your money is long, right? Like these people that have a large inheritance, right? Unless your money is long, you have to do something to maintain your life. Okay? And so one way or the other, you got to do something. You got to figure something out, whether it's meeting somebody who's going to pay for everything you want or doing it yourself. One way or another, you got to figure it out, do something about to make sure you live and get your basic needs met. And if you want a comfortable life, you got to do a little extra. Unless your money is long, or unless you're in one of those tribes that people like to call primitive, although I consider them to be more advanced than we are. But people like to call them primitive. But they're not the ones that have money coming in between them and being natural. If they want something to eat, they go out and get something to eat. They hunt for whatever they want, or they might get it off of trees, or they have whatever gardens, or however they grow their food. But a lot of times the men go out and hunt for the food, like if they getting fish and all that stuff, and then the women might get like stuff like grains or whatever. But the dollar doesn't come between them and eating their food. So I consider them to be more advanced. We're not advanced because technology. We have devolved because of technology. Because now we are depending on all these things for basic needs that people that live in the doggone jungle don't need to do the basic stuff that we need. It requires money, but they don't even need the freaking money because they are more advanced, even though people like to call them primitive. They don't have to worry about a blackout and the lights going to get you. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about a shortage of water. The only time those kind of people have to worry about all these things is when tyrants, like what we're dealing with now, when tyrants go over to their land to take what they got because they can't stand to see anybody free. They're so greedy and they're so controlling. And that's the only time these so-called people that's called primitive, these tribes, that's the only time they have problems when it comes to resources, natural resources, and when tyrants take their behinds over there to take it because they're so freaking controlling. Like they want everything. So I'm gonna go because I decided like I might have to wake up early tomorrow morning. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I can't. This thing gonna be mad at me again. I can't be dealing with money today. I can't be worried about money today. Excuse my sniffing. I'm dealing with things. I don't have a cold. I don't have the flu. I don't have that other thing that people like to fear. I'm dealing with something. Anyway, yeah, that's it. So I'm going to end it, like I started. For some of us, it seems like, and we are ashamed. And why are we ashamed? Because first of all, we live in an ego-driven world. And then we live amongst a lot of mundane people who can't see beyond the physical, really. I mean, mundane people will tell you all day long that this thing with COVID and coronavirus, because I do not consider them to be the same, okay? But this thing with COVID and coronavirus and these little variants, they will say that we are in the spiritual war. Oh, they'll say it, but they don't understand how to battle it. They won't go to battle because they'll say it, but they don't know what to do after that. They just say things. But what to do, what's the next action to take, they could not tell you because they've been comfortable and domesticated for too long to take the first doggone step. And honestly, I would be a lot further along had I not been so focused on making money. And I'm about sick of that right now because I can be a lot further evolved spiritually had I not been so focused on making sure bills are paid, that I got something to drive, that I'm so focused on doggone getting those needs met that it's hurting me. It's stopping me from evolving like I should. And I think this is a higher power. For me, it's a higher mind. I don't believe in the God of the... Okay, I believe that a being of that Bible they call the God of the Bible. I do believe, I know about that being. But that's not the being I'm talking about. I think I've actually seen that being. I seen it when I was looking up. I'm going to call it the sky, but we're in a virtual reality. So the sky that's in this virtual reality, okay? Because the sky ain't really there. But it's amazing how the sky is and we're looking at a fake world. So why so much is being covered up there? You know how you look at the sky and you can tell things are being covered up? It's almost like the simulation is breaking down. Like, what are they trying to hide? We in a virtual reality. So when I look at the sky and I see you hiding things, why is that? It lets me feel like the simulation, the reset, like it still got to be, it still need to be fine-tuned, right? It still need to be fine-tuned. And so they got to hide stuff. I notice they do this with the mountains. I know these doggone giants, they bodies up in the mountains, and that's why they got them funny shapes. And I see these clouds over and stuff hovering over them damn mountains and shit. It's like, why? Is this a virtual reality or not? Right? Or is it a holographic world or not? Well, I know it's a virtual reality, and that's what I know it to be. And but the problem is, what are you hiding if we're in this virtual reality? So that means to let you know that everything ain't fake, right? And computers do require fine-tuning. It requires to be reset. It don't just last forever. And so that's why you got these things that's trying to hide. Yeah, it's not meant for me to hold on to this life, so I'm no longer going to be ashamed of what's hard for me to get because I'm not supposed to be holding on to it in the first place. To hold on to this life is a sin at this point because I could have evolved a little bit further. I could have evolved further than I am had it not been for me. Now, I'm not holding on to material stuff and that stuff anyway. Like, I would like to make enough money to be able to just sit home for a month or so. That would give me so much time to do the work I need to do. But let me tell you, though, why that couldn't have worked in the past. And I'm going to say in the so-called past. Because in the so-called past, even though I was doing spiritual work on myself, I still tuned into like little things, not the radio, not the regular television. I stopped watching that a few years ago and listening to that a few years ago. But I still watch little things on YouTube that could be considered low vibrational. You know, one being dealing with the gender stuff, right? Not that I get involved in it, but sometimes I look at it. And at this point, I don't even look at it. I stopped looking at what the new celebrity news and stuff like that because I'm not listening to radio and I don't watch the television. So it's like I'm not keeping up, or whatever people use, Spotify, whatever they use to listen to music these days. And so because I'm not keeping up with that, I don't know what's happening. And so I don't look at celebrity gossip because I haven't been keeping up. Let me tell you something. I just went into a doggone restaurant today. And y'all gonna laugh at me. I just realized it was the Olympics. Like, I don't know if it's a tryouts or what's. I just saw this guy being interviewed, and I saw that Olympics side. Like, oh wow, is it the Olympics? See, that's how much I'm out of tune with a lot of stuff. But that's it. I'm done talking. I'm done talking, and I will talk to you later. But yeah. For some of us, we just got to let the life go. Not trying to figure out what we're going to do. Not trying to get ourselves together. I'm going to tell you. If it's meant for you to let this shit go, you're going to be trying until you dead. And when I say the physical death, according to this physical rule set, okay, that's what people say, death don't exist. Well, according to this rule set, there's come about also by a collective of beliefs. There is a perceived physical death. And the reason why there is a perceived physical death is because you perceive yourself to be physical even though you're not. Well, how do you perceive yourself to be physical? Well, you're not going to jump off a building and think you ain't going to break nothing, are you? Or think you ain't going to die, right? You still need to drive a car, right? Okay, because see, we can say that we're not physical because I know I said that. I said we have avatars because I know this is a virtual reality. The problem is that we go by a physical rule set, and with that physical rule set, we live like we're physical, even though we're in a virtual reality in avatars and we don't really have physical bodies. We go by a physical rule set where we act like we physical. Okay, so that's what I mean by that. But anyway, I don't want to keep going on and having to repeat myself. And I will talk later.